Why are you playing crappy gigs? Why aren't you getting invited on big stage with big bands? Or when will Paramore finally notice you and say, hey, want to come on tour with us? Today we're going to talk about important things that you must do as a musician or a band to get better gigs or more gigs. Why should you listen to me? I'm probably not the almighty authority on this topic, but I have opened for these bands and I played some really cool shows, lots of people and festivals and stuff like that. My band is basically in this little period of being a big local band or one of the bands that you hire if you need an opener if you're in Florida. So how did I get here? How do we get to this point? How do you get to this point? One thing that I think you should ask yourself is, does your band suck? And that's okay if your band sucks, to be honest. My band sucked for a long time. I feel like we sucked longer than we probably should have, but just know that. If your band sucks, work on your show, work on your music, whatever. Now, I'm assuming if you are kind of to this point where you want to play bigger shows, you've been there before. You've done this stuff. You have stuff like really good merch, somewhat of a following on Instagram, social media, and I'm not saying like you need to have like thousands of followers, but you know, maybe at least 1,000, 1 to 2,000. Like that's pretty solid, to be honest. A lot of bands that get hired to play as an opening act, they don't have, you know, 15, 20,000 followers. You don't need that many. So if you're to that point, work on your show, but also keep watching because these are a couple things that you should be aspiring to accomplish as a band. I want to give you a little bit of a backstory on my band. I play guitar and I sing for a band called Done For in the Florida area. We started off playing really small shows. We met in college. We started off playing like little events, you know. There was like this event called Eagle Radio Fest at FGCU in Fort Myers, and we played there, and then we kind of just started to get the ball rolling after that, playing local shows at like pubs and bars and stuff like that. There was this one place called Rosati's Pizza. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I think it's somewhat of a chain. We used to play there. No stage, we had to run our own sound and everything. Then we started to get better gigs. You know, we started to open for certain bands, and then that kind of gained enough exposure, and then now we're playing for big venues like the Ranch in Fort Myers. We've played at Brightside Fest in Orlando, stuff like that. We went on a little tour and one of our shows sold out all the way up in Jacksonville. We're definitely not a big band like, you know, Falling in Reverse or something like that, but I think there's something to be said about being a band on the local level, but you can play anywhere in the state, right? You have relationships with big bands. And I think that's a really big stepping stone to get to the next level. And you know, maybe we'll be talking about next year how to get on tour with A Day to Remember or something like that. That's like a goal of mine, obviously. But anyways, how do you get to that point though, you know? First off, if you're just playing these small bars and pubs that don't have a stage or they don't have their own sound system, whatever, I think your next goal should be to be regularly playing at places that have their own sound guy, they have PAs, subs, everything, lights that just make your show look really good. And that's kind of what I think helped us a lot, is we set a standard pretty early on that we're not going to be playing for places without a stage anymore, because there's just no way you can have an insane impact on the crowd without all of that stuff. You can to a small degree, but playing on a stage like that also, for the audience, it creates a sense of prestige and credibility for your band. And whenever you hire, you know, a photographer, videographer, and they're capturing these moments of you on stage with all these lights and a crowd of people, it just makes you look better. So how do you do that? Well, you need to build relationships with promoters and venues. The first step of that is to create an EPK. An EPK is an electronic press kit. Just think of a high quality kit of photos, videos, information about your band that you can easily send to venues, promoters. And that really helps because once you get to the point where you're not just some band that is playing Friday nights at the local pub, but you're a band that has actual events that you're playing, think of like a themed event. You know, I'll put a couple flyers on screen of things my band has done. We sometimes try to put a theme with our flyers, our posters, stuff like that. You know, a lot of times it's like an emo night, something like that. It gets people more of an excuse to go out and go see something. It's more of an occasion, right? Once you have that EPK, you're going to reach out to venues. I want you to, if you don't have like any gigs right now or any relationships with any venues, I want you to reach out to literally 100 venues. Reach out, find the promoter, find the owner, anything, and email them, Instagram DM them. You'd be surprised how many gigs you can get from Instagram DMs. I feel like we do that a lot. But Instagram DM and email or Facebook message them. All three, your EPK, why you think you can play at this venue, what you can bring to the table. Because remember, they just don't want to hire a band that is going to play there and not bring anybody. You have to be able to bring people to the gig. So one thing we always try to do is set a ticket goal or a goal for the amount of people we bring to an event. So if you're a band starting out, it might be as low as 20 people, which, believe it or not, is actually really solid for most small venues. If you can get 20 people there, they are, you know, active around the venue, they're buying food, drinks, they are up close at the stage, you know, that's very important. You want it to look like they're here to see you, not just a regular at the bar. So once you have those people combined with the regulars at the bar, you're starting to look like you're putting on a show, right? But what you need is, you need someone to capture that for you, a photographer, a videographer. If you have a friend that's a photographer or a videographer, that's a really good tool to have. Throw them some money, don't make them do it for free. But, you know, sometimes they might offer to do it for free, but I would try to throw them like some money, you know? Or if you have merch, give them a free shirt, something like that. But if not, you're probably gonna wanna hire somebody, because there's really no way you can succeed in today's world without getting someone to capture the moment and convey credibility, really. Because if you have high quality images and videos of your band, it looks like you belong there, right? And it looks like, wow, I want this band to play at my venue. So you've reached out to 100 venues, stay consistent with them. You're probably gonna have somewhat of an email list. And this is basic stuff, like you're not gonna have to do this all the time. You know, this is probably just starting out. Later on, you're gonna get offered gigs and you won't have to do this as much anymore unless the gigs you offered suck. Then, once you have played at a couple places and you have an EPK, reach out to other bands. And you're gonna wanna open for other bands. They can be small bands too. But the point is, opening for a band gets you to network with another band and gets you to network with another audience. That's really important. Networking with the audience and the band will get you in their mind the next time they set up a show, if you do a good job, obviously. But also, you can kind of steal their fans. Now, I don't mean like steal their fans, but like you can make the fans of the other band your own. Right? There's already people going to see that band. Now, if you're opening for them, they're going to see you too. And talk to people. One thing that my band does is we have temporary tattoos and wristbands that we give away for free. So before shows, we're giving people free tattoos and wristbands. And the wristbands say like, follow Done-For Band, and Done-For, Southwest Florida, pop punk, metalcore. And then it has like our Instagram handle on there. So that's going to get you some followers if you do something like that. But also, once you're like, and you know, like it's kind of awkward because we're putting tattoos on people, it gets you to like talk to them and tell them about your band, where you're from, who you are, what kind of music you play, that you're really excited that they're there to see you play. That's going to start to create a community around your band. Once you get followers like that on your Instagram and stuff, you know, have them follow you on Instagram. Just be like, hey, reach out to them after the show and say, hey, I really appreciate you coming to the show. I hope you can make the next one. And then what you're gonna do is, you might think this is really annoying, and some people, I think it does annoy people, but you have to kind of gauge how often you should be doing this. But if you're playing a show once or twice a week, it's gonna be too much. But send them all your flyers, talk to them, be like, hey, do you wanna come to the show, whatever. Don't just like mass message everybody. Maybe like create a copy and paste and then like personalize it for each person. Just think about it. It's like sales. If you reach out to 100, 150 people of your followers that you know are local that will come to this show, because like obviously if you're playing in Gainesville, you're not going to be messaging a bunch of your fans from Fort Myers because they're not going to come. So this is more for local shows, or if you have a fan base where you know some people in different areas, you can reach out to them. But yeah, send them flyers, say you'd really like them to be there, say, hey, we'll give you a free tattoo, you know, something like that. Obviously, I'm just thinking of tattoos because that's what we do. But you know, maybe you have like something free that you give out, like stickers or whatever. Consistency really matters in this, because once you can consistently get people at shows, you know, maybe you're up to like, at first you wanted to be at like 20 people. Maybe you're up to like 30 or 40 people. that's really good enough to get on bigger shows. Like, we've had shows where we've sold 40, 50 tickets and the venue has been really impressed, and that keeps us going and gets more shows for us. Now, once you've been doing this consistently for about a year, you will get to a point where you're probably going to get offered really good shows. But one thing that will always get you shows with big bands is talk to the bands that you play with, because they will network with other bands, and if they really like you, maybe they'll mention your name the next time someone that they know is in the area. Like, you know, these bands are touring all the time. They have friends that also tour and that play in certain areas, and they might have friends that are looking for openers, so that could be you. So every band we've played with, we've really tried to make an effort to talk to them. Like, one I can think of off the top of my head is when we played with Sleep Theory. We really talked to them for a long time, asked them advice, but also, you know, just kind of told them that we're fans of their music. Just kind of slide in there. Hey, if you're ever in the area and you're looking for an opener, consider keeping us in mind. If it goes really well, message them on Instagram every now and then. Just kind of keep up that consistent dialogue with them. And if they never respond, you know, that's fine, but they will remember you if you do that. Now, don't text them every day, but like maybe once every 2 months. So say you get to open for like a decent sized band. Like for us, a decent sized one that we opened for that kind of grew a little bit of credibility was Crowbot. Now before that, we got a little lucky and we opened for a band called Buck Cherry. I'm sure you've heard of them. You know, this is stuff that's really in the realm of possibility if you do all the things I've told you first. You know, keep talking to the promoters and the venues, just kind of update them. Also, one thing you could do is every time you have a new song coming out, send it to promoters and be like, hey, this is our new stuff coming out, what do you think? And just kind of like, almost like a friendly talk every now and then with them. Once you have like one or two of those decent shows that you've had to open up for bands, you gotta milk that, man. So, you gotta milk that, man. You know, you gotta milk that, comma, man. Punctuation matters. No, but what I mean is, like, if you had, so say you open for Buck Cherry, like us. We hired a videographer, photographer for that show. We made a vlog for that, and we still use videos, like short clips of that video all the time in our promotions, in our like video promos for other shows. So you start to like build up these assets of content that you can put together to make flyers or promo videos for other shows. I'll flash one up here while I'm talking. Those shows really, it's kind of dumb, but like those shows really make it look like you are a really badass band, because obviously Buck Cherry has like a pretty big following. So whenever we played there, we sold about 80 tickets, which is really good. But that plus all the people that were there to see Buck Cherry that happened to have came early really made it look like there was a lot of people there to see us. Doing that and taking advantage of that moment could spiral into more really good opportunities for you. So you're gonna wanna take a lot of pictures, videos, and then when you're there, obviously, you know, network with the people that are at the venue, like I said, and your fans. Obviously, always talk to your fans, always talk to new people. Every single person that comes up to your merch table, talk to them, thank them for coming to the show, offer them a free sticker, and maybe they'll buy your merch. Those are things that will get the ball rolling. And what we've done is we've done these shows, but every single time we've done a show like that, we've made sure that we could sell a decent amount of tickets. The first one with Buck Cherry, we went really hard, and we sold like 80, 90 tickets, like close to 100 tickets, which was like over a quarter of the tickets that were sold for that venue for that night, which isn't going to be realistic for every band, but I think when you think about it, they probably would have been really satisfied with 40 or 50 tickets sold from us. And then they just kept offering us more shows, and we've gotten, just from that connection, we've opened 6 shows now. We're going to play with Norma Jean next week. We're playing with Soulfly a couple weeks later. We just did a show with Head PE, and then you know, we did Sleep Theory, Keith Wallen there, and I know there's going to be more in the future because, you know, we've just built up that relationship. But they think of us as, when there's a rock band in the area, we're going to at least consider Done For to open, because we know that they'll sell tickets and they put on a good show. And once you've done that, you're gonna be at this point where I'm at right now, where it's like the next step is, hopefully this is my, you know, I'm hoping that this happens for my band, is we want to be asked to go on tour with a big band like Beartooth, August Burns Red. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I want to be going on tour with Bring Me the Horizon or Paramore, you know, like that's like gotta be a little more realistic. I feel like once you get there, you're not gonna be looking up more videos for advice. Hopefully that's when your career takes off, and I'm hoping that my career takes off soon at that point. I really hope, you know, maybe I make a video next year and I've gone completely full-time. But for now, I'm serving tables and making YouTube videos on the side to hopefully go at least full-time making YouTube videos. But I definitely want to be a musician as well, full-time. So yeah, with that being said, please help support. Subscribe to this channel. I'm really happy with the growth that has been coming from this YouTube channel, but we're gonna keep going, guys. I really appreciate it. Leave a like on the video, comment any questions or whatever. I'll be responding to every single comment, so put a comment down below. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload, and have a great day. Peace out.